Well, before we get started, I'd just like to say that our meeting was called to order when we were just previously in closed session. When we were meeting in closed session, there were a few items that we discussed that do not appear on the agenda that was posted publicly on Friday. So I'm going to turn it over to our board attorney, Mark Toscano, to just give us the update on what we talked about.
Thank you, Ms. Cage. There was, in addition to the items noted, for item number 4, the board discussed a sidebar agreement with the WWPEA. For item number 1, it should have read student residency matters. There was more than one matter that was discussed. For item number 7, there was a discussion regarding the WWPSA grievance procedure. There was also a discussion in item number 7 for a matter under docket number A-0109, and a discussion for matter under docket number 20, CIV 5878. And then finally, for number 8, the board discussed personnel matters. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Toscano. I'll now turn it over to the superintendent, Dr. David Adderholt, for his comments.
Thank you, Ms. Cage, and good evening, everyone. Wanted to just touch base on 2 topics this evening. One is just to let everyone know that this evening I sent out another health update to our school community. This covers the last 2 weeks. You'll see that there's been some additional COVID positive cases of both staff and students and additional quarantining. This all stems from surge that we've seen after Thanksgiving time period. So we just ask everyone to just please remain vigilant during the time ahead, as Hanukkah, Christmas, winter break has a tendency to be a time for family gatherings, and we would just urge our school community and our greater community to just be cautious and take care of oneself and your loved ones. The other thing that I know is out there on everyone's mind is impending snow and the excitement around the possibilities of what if. What will the superintendent and the district do should we have inclement weather? So I'll talk about this briefly because this is an evolving storm, and as you can imagine, the snow totals aren't real until snow starts falling and we know what's going on. But I'll be watching the storm through the day tomorrow and into Wednesday night. It is my belief that if we have a large storm of sorts, one that would close school on the traditional school calendar, we will have a closed school day on Thursday. If the snow totals are unclear, I will monitor the storm like I normally do, and then we'll make a determination whether or not we need to take any kind of action on Thursday, depending upon what happens. And that means in the wee hours of the morning on Thursday, I will do that like we do in a normal storm. And they've been everywhere from someone saying 1 to 3 and someone else saying 12 to 18. So this storm is all over the place. But we will not have a virtual school day on Thursday. However, because we have the opportunity to pivot to virtual, should we have a storm that is a large storm that has trouble with plowing, that has trouble with developments and roads, we will then consider a virtual day for Friday. So I don't think that under a circumstance where we have the ability to go virtual, that we need to try to mess around with schedules and go to a delayed opening schedule on Friday. And a delayed opening would be cause for things like icing, overnight icing. A lot of times you get road closures, but then you get all the snow melt and then it refreezes, and then you have potential dangerous conditions on the next day, the day after. So again, we'll watch this pretty carefully. But what it does mean for our hybrid 1 students is if a student's a hybrid 1, tomorrow could potentially be the last in-person day until January. So we just want to be mindful. I'll be notifying the staff later this evening of the information I'm sharing now. And again, I'm not optimistic that we're going to have a closure, and I'm not, adverse to calling a closure. I'll monitor it, and we've all seen forecasts fall apart. Grand forecasts 3 days, 4 days in advance become nothing by the time of the storm. So I'm not just going to call a day for the sake of it. Remember, we have 3 days available in our calendar that's already built-in days. And then after we use the 3 days, we will be moving to virtual from that point forward. So, for the kids, let's hope for a monstrous storm with lots of snowmen, and we will move towards a day off for everybody. But again, if the storm doesn't develop, we will not call it for the sake of calling it. So that's what I have to say about snow. So hope everyone has a safe, happy, and healthy winter recess.
Thank you, Dr. Adderhold. At this time, we're going to hear from our students. So we'll begin with our student representatives from High School North.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to be here once again. So unfortunately, Allison couldn't join us tonight. So I'll be covering the entire update. So I first wanted to talk about homecoming, which just ended a couple weeks ago. So we actually got a couple thank you gifts for all of the for our court, including crowns, sashes, and small gifts just to commemorate their win. Our inclusivity actually got us an interview which was published by the NJSBA regarding our changes to promote inclusivity, because we extended the we made several changes to the way homecoming runs. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Regarding the two-night show, formerly known as Mr. North, we also made this show more inclusive because the contestants are no longer limited to only boys. So we're currently planning the event to be virtual with live aspects, and we will be streaming it on a media platform such as Twitch. And yeah, we're currently planning host or participant auditions. Regarding club updates, so our POC advocacy club recently held a racial sensitivity discussion with the entire district, and there was a really great turnout with over 70 plus attendees. The North Medform and HOSA Club. So the NJ HOSA Southern Regionals Conference will be held this year on January 31st, 2021, and the North HOSA team has been preparing vigorously for this. And for NJ HOSA state officership, our 3 candidates from North have been chosen. So good luck to them. Our Red Cross Club is currently hosting their hurricane relief fundraiser, which is lasting from December to January, and the money raised will be used to support those affected by Hurricane Laura. Our Mercer County March of Dimes Club hosted their first annual fall art competition, which recently ended on November 30th, and it was actually very successful with over 100 participants. Our MUN Club recently competed in Brunman, their first conference of the year, which took place virtually on the dates of November 21st and 22nd. And finally, our North Heal Club and North New U Club co-hosted their second mental health webinar recently this past Saturday, December 12th, which discussed supporting student wellness during virtual learning. So just some other miscellaneous updates. So high school juniors received their PSAT scores from October 14th, which arrived last Monday, December 7th on collegeboard.org. And finally, for picture day makeup, students that were originally taking their pictures on November 19th and 20th, they've been rescheduled, and they're going to be taking their pictures this Thursday, Friday, and next Monday from 3 to 7 in the HSN theater. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the report from High School North. Now we'll hear from our representative from High School South.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. My name is Saket Subramanian. I'm a senior, and I'm the BOE representative for High School South. To start with current events, we are currently running another non-cumulative holiday-themed Spirit Week at South with days like Hawaiian T-shirt Day and Candy Cane Day. Since our last meeting, we also ran another successful trivia night with prizes supporting local businesses along with vouchers to the school store. The success of these events have also inspired a number of class councils to conduct their own unique events and even partner up with North class councils to do so. As far as what is upcoming, Student Council has switched it up from trivia to our own named Wheel of Treasure, which is Wheel of Fortune, in which representatives from each grade as well as teachers will compete for bragging rights. We encourage all students and parents to come out and watch and try to solve the puzzles in real time in the comfort of their own homes. You can do that at the link provided in Google Classroom on Tuesday, December 22nd at 6:30 p.m. We've also continued providing state-of-the-ship addresses, and each morning a representative of a different class council provides an update on their council's work on the announcements, which students can watch in the morning. For the holidays, a holiday charity collection is also being conducted at South. We are collecting gift cards, toys, stuffed animals, footballs, hats and socks, and gloves. We are collecting until Friday the 18th in the back hallway and foyer at South, so make sure to contribute. And that brings us to the end of my report. So thank you all for your time, and I want to wish everybody a very happy and healthy holiday season.
Thank you very much to our students. We appreciate the update. Tonight we have a presentation, our comprehensive annual financial report. I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Russo, who will do the introductions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have Mr. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. I was thinking of Wissing Company is the name of the company, but we have Mr. Scott Cleland, who oversees our district audit, and he's here this evening to present the audit. From what I understand, it's a clean one. I mean, there's no findings, and at this time, Scott, please present. Oh, there you are. I was looking for you.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, that's why I was babbling, trying to drag it out to give you time to log on, but you were there.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. So
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. And thank you very much for inviting me tonight to present the results of the 2020 fiscal year audit. Before I get started, I want to thank the administration, including David, Chris, Derek, Bonnie, and Lou for all their time and effort they put in this year. It's always a lot of work doing an audit. We usually ask for a lot of information, but this year obviously was a very unique experience since the majority of the work was done remotely. So what we had done is we had set up an encrypted website where we shared information back and forth, and then we really were very, very limited with only 2 people coming into district once a week in a very isolated location to look at things that the district could not let leave the building and so forth, because it's more personal records and so forth. So we couldn't have gotten the audit done without their assistance. So I want to again thank them for all their efforts for bringing us to this point. I was very concerned, obviously, when COVID hit back in March about how we're going to get these audits done. And again, I think it went much better than expected. And one of the other concerns we had was what's going to happen to your internal control procedures. And again, I'm happy to report that really didn't miss a beat. Everything maintained, the district maintained a strong internal control environment that it always had. And all of our internal control testing did not identify any control weaknesses. So that's something to be very, very proud of, that you were able to maintain that under the conditions we all had to operate it within. Last Tuesday night, I met with the Finance Committee. We went through specific pages of the draft and spent a good amount of time going over it. Tonight, I'm just going to give you a high-level overview and not have you flip through any pages. I believe you all have received a copy of the draft, and if you have any questions between now and let's say the first of the year, you can shoot them to Chris, and Chris will get them to me if there are any further questions.
Scott, if I can jump in real quick, I did not share that because of because of COVID or whatever reason, the state, the piece of the audit that's the information that basically is just comes from the state and placed in the audit. It's not audited again. It's audited by the state and placed in the audit. That information has not arrived yet. Testing and everything based on district records is complete, and I believe we have it was either till what I think January 31st or 30th or 31st actually here, and then February 5th in which to actually submit it. So the intent now is we're looking at, I believe, January 27th to approve the final document with the information from the state that is relevant to our district, but doesn't change any of the of what was audited on our behalf in of the records.
Correct. It was basically the retiree health benefit information, which the state did release finally late yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be working on getting the audits done between now and mid-January. As Chris mentioned, the extension went from 12/5 to 2/5 to get the audits done, and we will meet that deadline. I want to also recognize the fact that the board and the administration did receive the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 12th consecutive year, which is nice to have under your belt, and that's included in the audit report. The opinion on the financial statements will be a clean opinion. what the information that's coming from the state will not have any bearing on the opinion. So I'm comfortable, putting that out there this evening. Some of the audit highlights from a financial perspective. Obviously we know COVID-19 had an impact on the educational side of things, but you can also see that it had an impact on the financial side of things as well. Normally your enterprise funds, which would be your food service program and your community education program, usually run at they usually generate a little bit of income each year. Well, this year the food service operated at a small loss and the community education also had a loss. And if you look at the timing, most of it is related to the COVID-19 situation, because obviously with community education, you weren't able to provide the programs the last 3 months of the year. Both still have solid balances, and we talked last week about, looking at those going forward if this continues on for a period of time. From a general fund perspective, which is obviously the numbers that mean the most to the district, you had a very, very good solid financial year. Your fund balance over 2% is a little bit higher than last year. And again, that's consistent through all the districts that we audit, because a lot of the expenses were not incurred in the last 3 months and 3.5 months of the year, therefore generating, more on the fund balance side. So at the end of the year, you have about $15 million of fund balance in excess of 2%, which will have to be utilized in the 21-22 budget. And I know we talked last week about how those funds will be utilized. The district also has funds set aside, allowed by the law, in the capital reserve, which are designated for capital purposes going forward. There's $27 million in that account, of which 8.1 million of that is being utilized in 2021, the year that we're operating. The district has put an emergency reserve aside for $1 million and a maintenance reserve for 1.4 million at the end of the year, again, all used for maintenance purposes. So the district has a good financial position, one that the bond rating agencies very, very much like. It also gives you some protection to have funds available if the COVID-19 continues on for a long period of time. And with that, normally districts are allowed to have 2% fund balance as their base. The state has changed that law for 2021 and 21-22 to 4%. The reason being is they want districts to put more money aside to cover potential COVID-19 issues that come up. Other items of note, there were bonds issued in the current year, which was the remaining batch of funds needed to fund the ongoing 2018 referendum projects. We have a disclosure in the footnotes this year, which deals with COVID-19, which basically just states that there's an unknown out there right now. We don't know the future impact on your financial statements or any of the other schools we look at, so that's consistent. But overall, again, I can't thank you enough for, again, getting us to this point. And again, based upon our testing, there were no findings and very, very good financial position, as we talked about last week. So your district is in very, very good shape on a moving forward basis. And with that, I'd be more than happy to open up to any questions you may have.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions? All right, seeing as there are none, thank you, Scott, for giving that information to us tonight. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
Thanks. Be safe and have a good holiday.
You do the same. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
That brings us to the first opportunity for public comment. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern from members of our community who submitted written comments to the board secretary prior to the submission deadline for this meeting, and from those who have signed up on the form to comment via video and/or audio that was open available on the district website up until the start of this first opportunity for public comment. Any written comments that were submitted prior to the deadline for this meeting will be read aloud by the board attorney for 3 minutes in accordance with board policy 0167. Members of the public who did not submit written comments and who have signed up will be offered the opportunity to make their comments via video and/or audio. Members of the public will not be permitted to submit both written comments and make additional comments via video and/or audio. Each comment should be directed to the presiding officer, not individual members of the board, and must be made in accordance with the procedures and 3-minute time limit set forth in Board Policy 0167. If the comment extends beyond 3 minutes, speakers will be asked to conclude their comments and may be muted by the moderator. Once an individual has finished their comment and their 3 minutes has expired, their audio and video will be turned off by the moderator. This public comment period shall be limited to 60 minutes.
Madam President, there were no written comments submitted, and I just checked and there was nobody signed up for the first opportunity for public comment.
Okay, so then we will close the first opportunity for public comment and we will then move forward with our committee reports. We'll begin with the Administration and Facilities Committee, and for that I will turn it over to Tony Flores.
Thank you. The committee met on December 8th. We began with a update on hybrid and virtual school operations. Mr. Earl provided updates on the environment. Students and staff are working virtually as expected with the return date at the time of December 10th. While health concerns have increased in the community over the last few days, the district felt that staff and students would be able to safely return. District officials continue to be engaged in COVID tracking and contact tracing when necessary. Transportation's going well with buses running at a reduced capacity. Teachers continue to adapt well to virtual instruction, and the district continues to address concerns as they arise. Then we reviewed policies and regulations. There are, on the agenda tonight, there are 11 policies for a first reading and 8 for a second reading. I'm not going to read them here. We have them on our agenda. The committee supports passage of all of them. We then discussed the 22-23 school calendar. The committee reviewed 2 drafts of the proposed calendars, and we provided feedbacks to the administration, and the calendars will be shared with other stakeholders for further input. We'll review the calendars again on our January 19th meeting. We went on to discuss athletics. The NJSIAA recently published winter sports practice and game competition timelines. All of the sports will start in January with the exception of hockey. But then the Governor Murphy issued an executive order which placed a pause on all youth sports until January 11th and moved the hockey competitions back to January. Virtual and outdoor practices might begin in December. The district is currently considering virtual connections between coaches and students. And the district is also exploring creating an esports league through the Garden State Esports. The district administrators have met with the Garden State Esports to discuss the potential for creating the league in WWP in the spring of 2021. Concerning the special education review, the district consultant PCGs completed 35 virtual observations, which exceeded their expectations at the time. They anticipate completing all virtual observations by the end of this week, which was last week. And special services and PCG are currently discussing how to facilitate file review focus groups and provide more opportunities for student, teacher, and parent feedback through either surveys or virtual focus groups. Then we went through the referendum projects. The fire alarm project at Millstone River is complete and going through its closeout phase. HVAC upgrades at High School North continue with the UV retrofit work and classroom duct work. Security vestibule final inspections for the schools that are in Plainsboro Township have passed their final code reviews. Inspections for the schools located in West Windsor are still pending and being delayed due to COVID-19 issues, which are affecting the inspection office. The contract has been addressing the punch list items and is assembling closeout documentations for this project. Grover Middle School is on target for completion with curbs, sidewalks, and walkways being poured. The contractor anticipated having the building enclosed very soon. Phase 2 of High School South renovations and additions are progressing well. The foundation work is continuing. Plumbing subcontractor is mobilized on site, getting ready for the underground plumbing work in Block B. Planning for the interior renovation work is ongoing, and with an attempt to begin work early without causing any unacceptable disruptions to the school operations. Finally, Mr. Earl updated us on the Equity Committee with some of the work that's going on in the district schools. CMS and High School North had an opportunity to hear from alumni and current students regarding their experiences at WWP. An equity team meeting was held on December 10th, and the team provided feedback on the draft equity goal statement and recommendations for getting started, engaging students, engaging staff, getting buy-in, and building consistency in the work. Our next meeting is going to be on January 19th. Any questions?
Thank you, Tony. We'll now get the report coming out of the Curriculum Committee, and for that I will turn it over to Dana Krug.
Hello, good evening. We also met on December 8th, and we discussed the high school program of studies, which is on the agenda tonight for approval. And we recommend, and also there was a presentation at the last meeting about the changes, and we, the committee recommends approval of the program of studies. And also there are many items from High School North, High School South, Community Middle School, Grover Middle School, and Hawk Media Centers that will be that the committee agreed should be disposed of because they're either obsolete or are so worn or damaged as to preclude effective use or economical repair or restoration. So we recommend that these items be disposed of. And we will next meet on January 19th. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? All right, I'll turn it now over to Louisa Hosch, who'll give us the report from the Finance Committee.
Okay, the Finance Committee met on December 8th. First, Scott Clellan from Witson Company presented information regarding the comprehensive annual financial report and audit findings. He stated that the district's financial position is stable and the district's record keeping is excellent. This was a clean audit with no issues for management to address. Committee members commended the staff for their diligent work. Mr. Clellan reviewed various financial statements with the committee members. Mr. Clellan will present the CAFR to the entire board at the December 15th meeting. The district is still waiting on information from the state to complete the audit. This information will not affect the audited operational statements of the district. When that information is received from the state, the completed audit will be approved, which is expected to be at the regular board meeting on January 26th. Next, the committee reviewed agenda items for tonight's board meeting. There are several motions to approve the intercom and AV systems at Community and Grover as part of the additions and renovations. There are also several change orders for construction projects. The bus evacuation drills were completed during the month of November and are also recommended for approval. Twice a year, the district sells solar renewable energy credits that we accumulate from our solar installations. This will be on the January 5th board meeting agenda for approval. The auction will take place over the internet using FLET Exchange, which is an online auction. Staff have begun work on the 21-22 budget process. Staff shared that the budget module has been made available to school administrators to complete any adjustment in budget line items. The district is doing everything possible to keep the budget to budget increase at a minimum. Staff shared that the summer capital projects list will probably include work related to current facility improvement projects and not the typical linear feet of curbing or asphalt work. While some of this type of work will occur, the administration has to be focused on the referendum work. Much of the referendum work will be underway at that time. The district is required to submit a health and safety evaluation checklists annually. The committee reviewed a sample of the annual health and safety checklists. The statement of assurance confirming that the annual checklist forms were completed will be included on tonight's agenda. Staff updated the committee on construction projects. As Tony mentioned, fire alarm work is coming to completion at Millstone. There are motions on the agenda to approve the intercom and AV work at Community and Grover. HVAC work continues at North on equipment in the classroom areas while students are not in session. HVAC work is continuing at Millstone River as well with plumbing and ductwork installation. Expansion work continues at South with footings being poured and foundation block work starting. At Grover, electrical wiring installation, wall painting, and window and ceiling grid installation work continues. Installation of hallway lockers is expected to start next week. Community Middle School expansion continues with block walls going up where steel is erected. Plumbers are finishing up their underground work where the slab is poured in D-wing. Steel should start going up in that location any day. The site work contractor continues to work on the water retention basin and the location of the old athletic field. Plans for the North Dance Studio, Culinary Arts, and Media Center renovations are being reviewed, as are plans for the Wyckoff expansion. Staff also briefed the committee on the status of the Energy Savings Improvement Program work. HVAC work continues at South with fan coils installed in the locker room areas and air handler installation in the playhouse and common areas coming to completion. Science swing work is complete. Control integration with IT is complete. At DutchNet, commissioning work and control integration is wrapping up. The HVAC work at Community is near complete with commissioning work taking place. Emergency lighting replacement and enhancement at Millstone River will begin next week on the second shift. LED light replacement is occurring at Millstone as well. Solar panel installation is nearing completion at Grover. Vista Energy is trying to coordinate a temporary shutdown of electricity with the utility company for the final connection so Village can start generating prior to the end of the calendar year. This has proven difficult due to the utility company's scheduling because they are supporting utility companies in other states that have had recent storms. The committee reviewed in October of 2020 report on cafeteria operations from Sodexo, the district's food service management company. Of note, on October 12th, WWP began to offer weekend meals to students. Each student now receives 7 breakfasts and 7 lunches in their weekly box. As of the date of the report, WWP had served 27,971 breakfast meals and the same number of lunch meals. The United States Department of Agriculture announced a new grant this week, the National School Lunch FY 2020 Equipment Assistant Grant. It is a competitive grant providing up to 8 of our school sites to receive up to $20,000 each for the purchase of up to 2 pieces of equipment. According to the memo provided by the USDA, these grant funds are intended to assist schools in purchasing equipment needed to enhance food safety in the school meals programs, improve the overall energy efficiency of the school food service operations, and to increase participation in school breakfast and or lunch, all while serving healthier meals that meet the nutritional standards for schools as required by the Healthy and Hunger-Free Kids Act of 2010. The submission of the grant application is on the December 15th board agenda for approval. The committee reviewed the draft agenda for the January 5th board reorganization meeting. The committee discussed the reorganization process and slight changes necessary this year due to the need to meet virtually. Lastly, the committee discussed district operations in response to an increase in the amount of staff requiring quarantine and the rising number of positive COVID cases. The committee's next meeting will be Tuesday, January 19th.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for the Finance Committee? All right, that will move us ahead then to the consent agenda, the portion of the meeting where we vote. So can I please get a motion on administration items 1 through 7, plus 3 addenda, the KG settlement agreement, the AM settlement agreement, and the addendum about the residency issue. Can I get a motion on all of that? Tony and Robin. Are there any questions or comments about the administration items? Thank you, Chris.
Okay, we'll start with Mr. Chang,
Yes.
Mr. Flores,
Yes.
Ms. Ho,
Yes.
Ms. Krug,
Yes.
Ms. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich. Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Cool. Ms. Juliana,
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes.
Thank you.
Could I please get a motion on the curriculum and instruction items 1 and 2? Dana and Graylin. Are there any questions or comments about the curriculum items? Thank you, Chris.
Okay, we'll start with Mr. Flores,
Yes.
Ms. Ho,
Yes.
Ms. Krug,
Yes.
M- Ms. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich,
Yes.
Mr. Chang,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana,
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes. Could I please get a motion on finance items 1 to 20, but we have one substitution. On item number 9, the dollar amount that's posted should be $69,096.02. So with that finance substitution, items 1 to 20, can I please get a motion? Louisa and Isaac, are there any questions or comments on the finance items? Thank you, Chris.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Ho,
Yes.
Ms. Krug,
Yes.
Ms. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich,
Yes.
Mr. Chang,
Yes.
Mr. Flares,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana,
Yes.
Ms. Case.
Yes. Can I please get a motion on personnel item, just one personnel item, but 2 addendum? Martin and Rachel. Are there any questions about the personnel items? Thank you, Chris.
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. McCune,
Yes.
Mr. Whitfield,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich,
Yes.
Mr. Chang,
Yes.
Mr. Flores,
Yes.
Ms. Ho,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana,
Yes.
and Ms. Case.
Yes. I'd just like to take a moment, please, to acknowledge several retirements that we just voted on tonight with many, many years of service in West Windsor-Plainsboro. Karen Kane, an elementary school teacher at Village School, is retiring after 34 years with the district. James Carvalho, a security aide, is retiring after 11 and a half years in the district. Marguerite Greener is a health and PE teacher at CMS, and she's retiring after 29 years with the district. Joseph Pedriero is a computer support specialist, and he is retiring after 17 and a half years with the district. And Laura Perks, another health and PE teacher at CMS, is retiring after 34 years with the district. I want to thank all of them for their hard work and dedication to our students here in WWP. We appreciate it, and we wish you all the best in your retirement. Could I please get a motion to approve the minutes from our November 17th board meeting and closed executive session meeting? Robin and Dana, are there any questions or comments about the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
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 Are there any abstentions or opposed? Do we have any liaison reports?
I have a report for the WWP Education Foundation.
Thanks, Graylin.
Hi, good evening. So the WWP Education Foundation Board met on December 13th, 2020. Dr. Ederhold provided a report on current happenings throughout the district. They then discussed corporate donations, grants for certain district initiatives, updates to the website, and youth committee activities. Most recently, the kids organized a Toys for Tots donation and Homefront food drive. The foundation is also planning for JRMF, the Julia Robinson Mathematics Festival, targeting the end of January. Finally, they would like to remind everyone that the STAR campaign to honor faculty and staff is still accepting requests through this Friday, December 18th. Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have any new business? That brings us to the second opportunity for public comment. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern from members of our community who submitted written comments to the board secretary prior to the submission deadline for this meeting, and from those who have signed up on the form to comment via video and/or audio that was open and available on the district website up until the start of this second opportunity for public comment. Any written comments that were submitted prior to the deadline for this meeting will be read aloud by the board attorney for 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. Members of the public who do not submit written comments and who have signed up will be offered the opportunity to make their comments via video and/or audio. Members of the public will not be permitted to submit both written comments and make additional comments via video and audio. Each comment should be directed to the presiding officer, not individual members of the board, and must be made in accordance with the procedures and 3-minute time limit set forth in Board Policy 0167. If the comment extends beyond 3 minutes, speakers will be asked to conclude their comments and may be muted by the moderator. Once an individual has finished their comment or their 3 minutes has expired, their audio and video will be turned off by the moderator. This public comment period shall be limited to 15 minutes.
Madam President, we did not have any written comments, and I just checked, and there is no one that signed up for any in-person comments, or excuse me, any virtual comments.
Okay, then we will close that. Just before we adjourn, tonight is our last board meeting of 2020. And that means that there's someone sitting at this virtual table with us tonight and who was at his last meeting. So I would like to extend some special heartfelt wishes to Isaac Chang. And I want to say thank you for all your hard work and your humor and insight that you always brought to every meeting. And I know that our board was better off because you were on it. And I thank you for everything and wish you well when you have free Tuesday nights from now on.
Thank you, Michelle. It was really a privilege to serve with you and the rest of the board and this great administration that we have. So I think the schools are in really good hands, and I'll be cheering you guys on from the sidelines.
Terrific. Thank you. So with that, I need a motion to adjourn. Isaac and Tony. All those in favor say aye.
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 Wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. We'll see you in 2021. Good night.
Good night.